Good evening. Hi, my name is Edward Gunawan. I always believe that the personal is political, so we will start with this picture of a boy. Once there is a young boy, a very young boy with a very idealistic ambition of changing the world. I know, very Miss World, Miss Universe, world peace. But this boy, at that point, didn't know how to do it yet, but the one thing that he knows is that he loves words, and second, he's good at them. So in high school and college, he wrote for newspaper and magazines. He even competed in debate championships. Through this process, he gradually became socially aware and politically conscious. Thinking that he can apply his passion and talent, he thought that the most natural progression is to become a lawyer. Bad mistake. And so he studied and was planning to go to law school until he interned at a law firm one summer. And then that's when he realized the legal field is just not for him. There were just too much paper pushing, the work is very slow, there were a lot of negotiations behind closed doors. And he just didn't think it was for him. So at the same time, he discovered the arts. He entered the world of theater and films when he enrolled in a creative workshop. And he was able to use words that he loved so much to create works of art with a capital A. And he was hooked. He realized that the arts has the same powerful potential of shaping and influencing the world we live in. Not through law and regulations or public policies, but art can reach and touch fellow human beings in the most fundamental and universal way, through our hearts. That boy is me. And although I'm all grown up now, and some jadedness had set in, but I still have that idealistic ambition, which is why I gradually have transitioned from writing and acting to directing and producing. I founded my own company, Edward Productions, with this goal to affect positive change, one human heart at a time. Maybe it's my own experience as a minority, being a Buddhist and Chinese in a Muslim-dominated Indonesia, or an immigrant in the US where I lived and worked for 10 years. I began creating and putting out work that dealt with this issue of diversity and democracy. Because we can't escape that, right? Diversity and democracy, they go together hand in hand. We live in a problematic, absurd world, really. There's this deceiving semblance of peace and stability, of abundant wealth and prosperity, but at the same time there are wars, destruction, and violence, and most of these issues stem from our differences that we perceive. And that led to prejudice, discrimination, persecution. And in Indonesia, the state of our country is alarmingly shifting to the worst. There have been much more extremist movements, and I fear we're losing ground from our founding principle of Pancasila. The first production I ever did was a theater play, Letters to a Student Revolutionary. It's a story of two friends set against the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre in China. It was staged in LA to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the tragedy. It's obviously very political, but the play is also heartwarmingly moving and entertainingly accessible. We created a lot of events surrounding the play. We have an exhibition of photos by a photographer that was there during the massacre itself. And we held Q&A discussion with actual survivors of the tragedy, student protesters who were imprisoned after, and they still remain on the China Most Wanted list. This project was very eye-opening to me because I was able to present something meaningful and powerful, but at the same time has some critical acclaim and commercial success. That began my journey to producing similar stuff. Over the years, I produced word and feature films that highlight sexual minority communities. One of them is Arisan 2, that was released in Indonesian theater. We also produced co-production with Germany and Switzerland a queer feature film documentary called Children of Srikandi that was premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival. We also have a short documentary about transgenders participating in the annual military draft lottery in Thailand. We produced the first short film about gay bullying in Israel that won an award at the New York Independent Film Festival earlier this year. Back to Indonesian local works, we have a short called Below the Line, featuring the debut screen performance of prominent human rights activist and senior theater artist Ratna Sarumpait. The film on her as a woman who struggled to bury her dead husband in Jakarta, where the escalating value of land prevents her from doing so. It gives us a glimpse of what life is like for people living below the poverty line. We have another short film called The Disposal that dealt with the problem of underage human trafficking. All these projects, I've worked with people from all over the world, and we have screened our films in big international film festivals and small local communities and universities in the hope of increasing cross-cultural understanding and between countries and people. The goal is to share to as many people as possible, and not to preach to the choir per se, but really reach out to the mainstream public, because if you're just talking to the choir, then it would defeat the purpose. Going forward, we have a political thriller feature film about 10 passengers who are taking a bus through a politically turbulent region like Aceh. We have also another romantic drama feature film that is set in Papua, also very politically turbulent region in Indonesia. I think all these films are very political in nature because I think it reflects my personal growth as well. With that said though, I don't make films just for a social or political message. I believe a film or work of art has to have a point of view, yes, but they still have to be accessible and entertaining. The goal is always this: we don't live in a homogeneous world. We may come from a diverse background, be it religion, race, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. But what I hope my film can remind all of us is that we are all humans. We have hopes, we have dreams, we have the same emotions, we laugh, we cry. And although we may have some superficial differences, we can remind ourselves that we are all the same, and that we should not just have diversity to be tolerated, but really embrace and celebrate it. In the end, I also hope that I can inspire the next generation of artists and filmmakers. The little boy and girl, just like me, who once had a dream to continue the spirit on. Thank you so much.